I'm Kelly Kennedy. I forgot that one. Hi, I'm Kelly Kennedy, Kelly Freedom Kennedy. And we all just live this, and we're excited to share with you the secret of how to live life easier and more full and without having to do so much effort. Because the word effortless, how many of you love the word effortless as we start tonight? And if you love it, I'd love for you to put in the chat yes without saying yes. I'm challenging you right away. So you can say hallelujah or absolutely or find some other way to acknowledge that you are looking for more effortlessness in your life. We want to know that. And without using the word yes, try to say something. Just, get your brain active and be present to this day and this time. Makes me want to go to the beach every time I listen to this song. But I'll turn it off. Because otherwise I'll just sit here and dance for the next hour. And I think you came more for that. More for how to get from stagnant to flow, right? From stagnation to flow. And really how to help your lymphatic system and your fascia. So Sarah, what kind of answers did we get?
We got a hell to the yeah. We got, oh yeah, baby. Amen.
Good. Using your brains. Using your hearts. Excellent. So tonight, what this is really about is how many of you are aware that you've been programmed in your life by society, by television, by news, by school systems, by your parents, maybe unwittingly, right? And it's time to reprogram yourself. Would you agree? So the thing that we really want to share with you tonight is really three things. If I share with you some ideas and some information about your lymphatics that maybe you didn't know before, because we're going to go through some details about the lymph and about the fascia. Genevieve reminded me right before we started that some of you have been to our workshops before, correct? How many of you have been to our workshops, the webinars before? So, she's always challenging me to make sure it's a little different than it was last time, so that you guys are excited about all the information that we have. So we're going to talk a little bit more about fascia tonight and scars and why they are so key to opening up your lymph. So if I share some details with you tonight that will open you up and give you some new information about lymph, in addition to is if I can really get you to experience some change or get to experience your nervous system calming down. Does that sound like something everybody would be interested in? It does, doesn't it? Calming down the nervous system. Yes. Okay, good. And if I also share with you, as the third level of this, the formula for what I have learned over 20 years that I'm going to give you tonight of how we apply this every single day in our clinic. And what we're going to do is give you an opportunity to reprogram yourself through this formula to allow you to have real freedom. And that's why I'm called Kelly Freedom Kennedy, because that F could stand for a few things. It could stand for flow. What was your brain thinking? I saw some of those minds. And flow and freedom is what we're really about, because what we know is that the healthcare system really works. It keeps people in the system of sickness and managing their health. And a lot of what I've seen in what I'll call functional health has been doing the same thing, what I call green pharmacy. And it's not that supplements don't work. They do. Genevieve, myself, Sarah, we all take them. We all recommend them and all that. However, it's not the foundation of our practice. And what we have to offer you tonight is a practice, not a pill. So if I give you those three things, would it be fair for me to then ask you to start to work with us in certain ways? Give me a yes or a no in the chat if you're open for that without saying yes. I'm challenging you. All right. Got a couple I see already because I see thumbs going up in that direction. And that works too. You can just do I never call them right. What are they called? Emoji cons or something? What are they called, Sarah?
Emojis?
Emojis. I always want to call them emoji cons. It's not even a word. But, I make up my own dictionary a lot. So the first thing we're going to do is, I can sit here and tell you my story, which I'll go through quick. God bless you. And why I'm really here and what this is really about. And then very shortly, I want to get to giving you some practice, because you're never going to pill your way, supplement your way into healing. You're going to practice different things, which is why we're going to program you a different way with the formula that we're going to give you by the end. So stick with us till the end, and you'll have an opportunity to take advantage of something that is only available for the next 24 hours if you stick with us the whole time. And the more involved you are and the more questions you ask, the better this is going to be for you. So go into that chat. Genevieve and Sarah will both be monitoring that chat. I will not, because then I will get distracted. And they will let me know when it's time to interrupt me, because there's things happening in the chat that need to be attended to. Okay? Because I'm very much a flow. If you've been to my workshops before, you know there are actually none, or not one of them is like the previous one, really. Okay? So y'all with me there? You ready to go? All right. Good. All right, let me get to share screen. Oh, it's down here. Okay, so there I am, holding my precarious tool for my lymphatic system, and Kelly Freedom Kennedy, as I said. And what I want to talk about to start with is some of the symptoms. So when people experience pain in the body, that's how my story started. How it kind of got reverted, I should say, redirected. It started because my father had chronic illness, and he had Hodgkin's disease, which is a tendency to develop cancerous tumors. And growing up in a house, watching him get chemo and radiation, and always going back for his checks and waiting for him to be sick again until he goes for another operation or another chemo session, felt a little like Russian roulette, because nobody could tell me if I was ever going to get cancer, because I was his biological child. And if I got it, would I die? Like, what's going on? And so he died by the time I was 20. And I was pre-med at Cornell at the time. And 9 months prior to him passing, I was in a severe car accident and almost died myself. I have a 12-inch scar on my head from being scalped. I lacerated my spleen in that accident, which, by the way, is your largest lymphatic organ. Oh, what's your largest lymphatic organ? Your spleen. And I also compressed 2 vertebrae, so I was 2 inches shorter in height from that car accident. And pain in the body is first on the list, because that's where I was living. And I went from doctor to doctor for 3 years, telling me how to manage my pain, how to take more pharmaceutical drugs for my pain, how to take more Vicodin, and how to go to support groups to talk to other people that are in pain. And we can all agree that just doesn't work. That's why you're here. You're here as part of the special group that knows something that other people don't know, which is there's a different way to do this, right? You're not in a Tylenol deficiency or an ibuprofen deficiency for your pain. There's another way to address the body. Even when you have compressed vertebrae, that would be obvious for why you would have pain, but you can alleviate that pain. And 3 years after that car accident, I was in an office with a guy in 1997 that did emotional release and vibrational work. And I had a 15-minute session with him, and I had a spontaneous healing. And when I went back and asked, what did you do? He said, it was energy. And I was like, what the heck is energy? I have a degree from Cornell University in biology, and I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, it's really cool, huh? And I was like, only if you tell me the secret of how to make sure that the pain doesn't come back and how this energy works. And he was like, well, just be. And that started my last 29 years of studying the science of energy. And I have been so blessed, and we're going to go through that. And why the lymph system has become the foundational work is because of that science that I've studied. But what I want to share with you is one of the secrets I've learned about the lymphatic system and about the body and how it works, is that these symptoms, all of them are a language. When you have headaches, your body's trying to tell you something. And not every headache is happening for the same reason. It might be dehydration. It might be too much blue light. It might be improper alignment of your spine. It could be a sensitivity to something you're eating. It could be a lot of things. It could be tension from stress. It could be, and it's typically always, it's more than one thing. It's never one thing that causes one thing. It's always multi-causational. And these symptoms are when your rain barrel fills up, when your body is a rain barrel and it fills up, when only is it filled, then do you see symptoms. And these are a sign that your body's trying to get your attention. Digestive issues, 50% of your lymphatics are in your gut. So I'm going to break away here for a second. I'm going to talk about the lymph. Oops. So, can somebody put me in spotlight so I don't mess with that for a second? So the lymph system, did you know you have 3 times more lymphatic fluid in your body than you do blood? And listen, I love blood. I look at blood every day. Here's my microscope. I love looking at live blood. But when you look at live blood, you get to see the cells, the red blood cells and the white blood cells, but then you see all this space that the cells are living in, and that is the terrain, and that is the water of the body. You are two-thirds of your body is water. That's your lymphatics. And that space, that environment between your cells is actually predicting how the cells are going to behave, because it's the information that's in that lymph that's sending signals to the cells. The cells receive it. And yes, extracellular matrix. I don't know how I saw that, but yes, extracellular matrix. You must be a practitioner to know ECM. Good job. But that space, that extracellular matrix, the space outside of the cells, it has vibrations sent to the cells, and those vibrations are light and sound in the physical form of the body as vibration, because that's all we are. We are a vibrational being, an energetic being that's having a physical experience, and 2/3 of that experience is water. And of your fluid that's lymphatics, you have lymph vessels, which go from your head to your toes, and they are part of your circulatory system. And they dump into your cardiovascular system right up here. So if you've watched any of my videos already where I teach about how to pump your manual lymph nodes, you'll always see me go up here to the neck clavicle area and start there, as well as dry brushing. Because you have between 600 and 1,000 lymph nodes. So the vessels that are part of the circulatory system are grabbing that fluid out of the extracellular matrix and then pumping it into the lymph nodes through movement. And yet your lymph system doesn't have a pump like your circulatory system does. And I know it's a lot, and I'm not here to give you a full anatomy class tonight, but I just want you to understand the significance of this lymphatic system and why it's the key to every case that I've ever seen in 20 years as a clinician that's dealing with the sickest of the sickest, as well as those that want to optimize, as well as those that are tired of brain fog, as well as those that want to perform better and feel better, even though their blood work looks great. Or they're tired of just chasing their symptoms by going from one practitioner to the other, and they want to get to the root cause. If that's you, stay here and start to do the practice and stop focusing on the pills. And with that lymph node system, 20% of them are in our neck and 50% of the lymph nodes are in our gut. And we have between 600 and 1,000 lymph nodes. And then we have lymph organs like the spleen that I mentioned, the thymus gland, and the bone marrow, which is where some of your white blood cells get matured, your small intestines, which create white blood cells, your appendix, which store your probiotics, your tonsils, which are the gatekeepers to decide what's going through that blood-brain barrier, and we know how important that is. And what am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting one of the organs. But there's a lot of lymph organs, lymph nodes, lymph vessels, and this system of this movement, which I'm creating a movement of the lymphatic system, is to help you get it to move and open up its flow so that your body can properly detox. How many of you, and you can either raise your hand or in the chat would be probably best. Okay, now I'm going to go back to share. How many of you have done a program or a detox or attempted to detoxify your body and felt worse? And that's where I'm going to come in, and Sarah, let me know, or Genevieve, let me know how many have said yes to that. That's because, go ahead.
We have 3 so far. 4.
Or you've had a Herxheimer reaction. One of my favorite words, right up there with fibromyalgia.
Now the yeses are coming in.
Yeah. So there's a lot of yeses. So you've tried to detox and it's made you feel worse. and you get more of these symptoms. You get more exhausted, more hormonal imbalances, more swelling, more. That's because your rain barrel's full, which is your drainage pipes. That is your lymphatic system. And it's not just drainage, it's circulation. It mobilizes your fats. It mobilizes your proteins. It balances your fluid. How many of you have dealt with edema or any kind of swelling? Whether that's, oh, I'm on a plane and my feet swell, or I had a bunch of lymph nodes released and now I have edema, and everything in the middle. Because the lymphatic system is not just for those that are diagnosed with lymphedema. The lymphatic system is for those people that breathe. Did you know you cannot live for 1 minute without your lymphatic system? Not 1 minute. And every single living being, including snakes, have a lymphatic system. All vertebrates and invertebrates have a lymphatic system. And so as these symptoms are coming to you, it's the language of your body. And I say all the time, okay, how is somebody writing on us? Can we stop that? Who's ever doing that? Get rid of that bot that's doing that? It's writing on my screen. That's crazy. I'm going to stop sharing and go back to share.
Yeah, we couldn't see anything.
Oh, okay. Well, we certainly know I didn't write on my own screen with the green marker. Okay, so these symptoms are the language of the body. And when you start to understand what the body's trying to tell you, and you don't get overly concerned about it because there's nothing that's stagnant in the body, you're either going towards regeneration or degeneration. And what we have learned is that we don't fight anything. We just support the body to facilitate healing. And as you open up your drainage, all of a sudden people recognize that, oh my gosh, I'm recovering from injuries faster. I don't have the skin rashes I used to. I'm sleeping so much better. I'd say that's the number one thing people feel when they start working with us is I'm sleeping better. And if you're sleeping better, what are you doing? Healing. When you're resting, when you're able to shift your gear, going back to that nervous system, and allowing the nervous system to calm down, now the lymph can do what it's meant to do. But when you're in sympathetic overload, when you're in stress, when you're in overrun mode, your lymphatic system is not at optimization. It's in shutdown mode because it's just trying to survive. And we want our bodies to be in healing, digesting, and resting mode. Some people have arm puffs. I wish I could show you a shirt that doesn't have long sleeves, but we have not hit spring yet. And in 2 days, it's happening supposedly where we are right now. But whatever season that you find yourself in, because I know there's people from all over the world watching this, what I'm sharing with you tonight, what my team is here to share with you tonight, is that this is about a season of life, and this is about changing your life and reprogramming you to reframe how you see these symptoms, what you do when you get these symptoms. How many of you, when you get a symptom, go into a little bit of panic and don't know what to do? Arm puffs are backed up lymphatic. I don't know if I finished that thought. I'm giving you an opportunity to rebirth yourself through the framework. I want to know how many of you are actually worried when you get symptoms or don't know what to do and don't have the tools to overcome that, let alone know what the cause of it is, and then get to the root cause so you're not managing symptoms. If you're managing symptoms, if you have to take a bunch of things to not feel well, you're actually not well. You're in a transition, but you're not there yet. Good. I mean, not good that there's a few of you doing that. How many would have indicated that, Sarah or G?
About 4 or 5 people are responding.
Okay, good.
All yeses.
Yeah. So here's the good news, okay? The good news is your body wants to heal. That is its innate wisdom within, is that it wants to heal. That is its job. And there are a couple blockades against it working well. And when you address those and then you support the majority of your system, which if we're looking at terrain, right, material, terrain, environment, the majority of your body is lymphatics and fascia. So I'm not a math expert. I know a little bit about probability. And if 90% of your body's physical structure is fascia and lymph, and I work in that and change that environment, then the cells and the organs get the right information and they function properly. It's pretty simple math. Because what we teach is about how the body regulates, how it compensates, how it balances, and allows you to start to take some of the balls away that it's been juggling. And then it's got space, which is what's needed for your lymph, to actually juggle what it has to in the world that we live in, which is toxicants and stress that are nonstop. And it's not that if your lymph is moving, it's is your lymph moving as faster than it's being thrown stuff in the environment in which we live. Okay. Everybody doing good?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. So as I said, this is a practice, not a pill. And this is a picture for me 3 years after that car accident I was talking about. You can see the inflammation. You can also see I dealt with allergies and asthma growing up. And my hair was the only thing that looks younger from there to the picture that was taken last year. Because my hair is now gray. My hair was black then, but my hair is now gray. Look at my shoulders in that picture. Look how off-centered they are. And when you look at the picture in the middle, as I'm showing people how to pump lymph, you can see the symmetry in my shoulders now. And this has been a practice that I haven't been in pain from this car accident in 30 some years now. I have lost track how long that is. And what's amazing about that is I feel to this day, that picture in 1997, I didn't want to be 30. I couldn't imagine what my life would be like, because going to a party or doing something like that was so out of my wheelhouse, because I was so worried that somebody would hit me or I'd eat the wrong thing and it caused more inflammation, and I could only stay awake for about 10 hours a day anyway. And so what we did was, just like I worked in the pet store, the reason I have the two fish bowls up there is because your body's like a fish bowl of water. And when you get symptoms, what a lot of people do is they start treating the fish right away. And what I learned in that pet store was, no, the first thing you do is you change the water the fish lives in. And then oftentimes the disease goes away. That's exactly what we're going to teach you. Okay, so this is a practice, not a pill. So, what does lymphatic system practice really look like? Shall we do some together? Yeah? You in? Everybody in? So get those cameras on. Keep your microphones off, please and thank you. And we'll keep me at spotlight so everybody can see me well. Although I can't stand that I can't see so many people. I see 6 people when it's like this. How do I make it bigger? Hold on. I like to see y'all. Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't need to see me. You guys just need to see me. I've seen me do this before. Okay. All right. Awesome. Now I can see a whole bunch of you. Hi, everyone. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is be. Remember my story about how Ian said just be? That practitioner's name was Ian. Oh, by the way, I married him. Oh, by the way, we've run a clinical practice together for 20 years. Oh, by the way, he's downstairs feeding our 13-year-old kid right now. And I be up here with you beings. But be is what he said. Just be. What's that mean? It means be embodied. So I'm going to ask you to remember for just a moment that your breath can be automatic, can happen with or without your consciousness, or it can be overridden. But a lot of times when I ask people to start breathing, you start to override it and deep breathe. Not looking for that, okay? What we're looking for tonight is just sit up straight if you can. If you can't, just imagine it. Put your feet flat on the ground so that they're touching on the ground. Take your back off of the back of the chair or the couch or whatever you're sitting on. Sit yourself up and put your palms face up on your thighs. And don't do anything. Just as I'm beginning to instruct, just listen to my voice and start to witness. I find if you close your eyes, it works better, but if you want to keep your eyes open so you can watch me, that's fine. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just watch your breath go into your nose. Watch it filling up the lungs and the gut. Watch it filling up down your arms and your legs. And then just watch your body exhale at your own pace. Watch it just exhale. Just like a baby's born. You don't have to tell it what to do. It knows how to breathe. In and out. Just watch your body breathing. The only difference between you and the 100,000 people that didn't wake up today was breath. So we're going to get skilled together as a practice to get very conscious of our breath. Good. And now on this next one, as you witness the inhale in through the nose, in through the lungs, through the rib cage, expanding, and at some point it starts to shift and it goes into the exhale and you start to contract your diaphragm a little bit. I'm going to ask you to I'm going to ask you to be active only with the exhale. So you're going to witness the inhale. Can I get a witness? Witness the inhale. And then on the exhale, take an action and sigh out. Ugh. Nobody can hear you, so go ahead and let it happen. In through the nose, filling up the chest, filling up the lungs. At any point that you notice the body starting to exhale, go ahead and effort that out. Go, oh. This is always step one. I know a lot of other people have watched me or have been in person with me, and even some influencers that I've taught lymph that are now out there doing lymph, and yet they've missed the piece because they don't do it in a clinical practice like I do, and I'm here to correct that wrong. First, always engage your nervous system, and you do that by witnessing your breath. The next is now you pump the lymph nodes. The lymph fluid can be a problem, but for most people, it's the doors, the lymph nodes that are closed that don't allow the movement, and more about that later in the opportunity that we're going to share with you, not tonight, but overall. So now we're just going to do our top 3 points, our 2 termini, the end points, and we're going to do our cisterna. But I'm going to share with you why the sequence is so key. Just pumping your lymph and pushing your fluid around doesn't work. It's the sequence that's important. And I teach that for free online, and then we go into depth with it in some of our courses. But you always start at the termini, and you always work on the termini is the end point. It's above the clavicle. And you always go to the left side first, and you want to drain the body. And here's why. The lymphatic system is a pressure valve relief system. It doesn't move unless we move. And when we move, just bounce. I've just got my feet off, my heels off the floor, and I'm just bouncing. I'm creating lymph movement, okay? But if I don't open my nodes first, it might not actually get out of my body. So first I engage my nervous system, then I pump my nodes, then I move, okay? And when we drain this part of the body from the left side and from here down, that all drains to the left side. And then the right side drains this side of the head, this side of the breast, and this arm drains here. 75% of the body drains here, 25% drains here. So it's important to follow the sequence. So as we pump and release in a moment, after you've engaged the nervous system, we're gonna pump and release here, but just so you know, you always go here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here. And there's more points to do, but those are the top points that we always do, and you always end where you started. Don't worry about if the pressure is right tonight. That's not what tonight is about. However, know that probably it's less pressure than you think, and it's not about pushing. It's about pump, release, pump, release, pump, release. It's like a wave. If you are water and you're creating a wave, you create movement. It's not like lifting weights. It's a flow, okay? So we're going to take our 2 fingers and we're just going to create a little pump, release. Just like we're testing an avocado or a peach for its ripeness. We're just checking its firmness. We're seeing how much of a give it has. So we're going to apply that to our top of our collarbones. I'm going to stay on the same side so it's easier to see. And then you just go in a little circle, pump, release with your breath. Witness your breath, make contact with your skin. Exhale, pump, release. We're going to do 3 pumps together. Pump, release, pump, release. Really easy. Actually, we're going to do this one too. I just changed my mind. We're going to do the apical node. So right in front of your shoulder, take those two fingers again and imagine it going up to that area you just drained. Pump, release, pump, release, pump, release. The reason I cross my arms is it's a little less awkward than this. And then the last point we're going to do is right under your diaphragm but above your belly button. If you put your pinky in your belly button, your fingers will naturally fall on it. It's called your cisterna chyli. Back up a little bit so I don't have to move the camera so much. And when you do this, you're pumping it. And imagine that drainage pipe is going right to that left clavicle, because this is where the lower body drains to this cisterna. Then the cisterna drains up to this left thoracic. And then those left and right thoracics dump into your heart. And then your cardiovascular system continues to pump that fluid, and your liver, your kidneys will get rid of it, and you'll sweat a lot out. That's how you get things out. You sweat, you pee, you poop. Oh, wait, there's one more. Exhale, and you'll exhale more toxicants than you'll ever pee, poop, or sweat. Did you know that? You will breathe out, exhale more toxicants than you pee, poop, or sweat. So let's start getting skilled at that exhale. So here we go. Breath in and pump and release. Pump and release. So I talked a lot in that. I can hear Sarah in my ear going, could you just do the pumping? So we're going to do it one more time together. Get your back up. Let's get the nervous system calmed. In through the nose. Witness it. Exhale out. In through the nose. Witness. Feel where the body shifts and go ahead and exhale out that side. Now take your fingers and start pumping those nodes slowly and gently, watching and witnessing the breath. And with your own rhythm, pump, release. Pump, release. Pump, release. Now the cisterna. Pump, release. Pump, release. Pump, release. You can always go back to the termini. 1, 2. That alone is going to start to open up your drainage pipes. So, I'm curious. How many of you feel a change of any kind on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being little change, 10 being big change, and 0 being no change? If you would be willing to, we'd love to hear your feedback in the chat. That took us about 5 minutes with my explanations.
Nice. 6, 4, 5, 6, 5. 3 or 4, feel calm. 4, 4, 4, 6. We had 1, 0.
Okay.
3. Yeah, a lot of like right in the middle.
Okay, great. So 5 minutes made a change, right? Imagine if you did that twice a day and you got really, I don't want to say habit, but you got in the practice of doing that 2 times a day. You do brush your teeth twice a day, correct? And somebody at some point in your life had to teach you how to do that, didn't they? Right? But did anybody ever teach you about your lymph? I teach a lot of medical doctors. There might be some medical doctors on this call right now, and I teach a lot of dentists. Some of you might be on this call right now. You were never taught about the lymphatic system unless perhaps you're in plastic surgery. And yet it's the key. And just pumping our lymph twice a day, for me in this world we live in, is the minimum. It's like, okay, if you're going to learn to drive a car, at least know how to steer. Well, that's good, but it's not the end of driving. You still have to work the pedals and ideally work a stick shift. It's a lot more fun to drive a stick shift. And your lymph system is like that. Like the top nodes and learning how to pump your nodes is like the steering wheel. It's a good start. It's not where you want to end. But it's the beginning, and it's what we need to do every single day, like brushing our teeth, to engage our self-care. So that is a great practice, and engaging and getting used to that a couple times a day can literally change your lives. We have an opportunity, as I said, for all of you to involve yourself in a new reprogramming. This isn't a course, this isn't a program. This is a 21-day reset for your entire lymphatic system. And we break it down for 3 weeks. So it's week 1 is lymph and breath. You can see now why we focus a lot on that. Each week, we're going to go through what you get, but there's a lot of anatomy and physiology, but more importantly, with lymph lessons, there's lymph moves. We're going to teach you different moves between myself and Sarah, who's my head clinician with me, that we're going to show you the different moves and the different ways we do it. We're a little different. And then week 2 is about lymph and movement. And for the person that experienced a 0 or no change, or any of you who maybe didn't want to speak to that, but maybe you didn't feel a change, I can guarantee you have scars on your physical body that are blocking your nervous system, or you have dental problems, and we're not going to go into that here. But scars are like a detour on your roadway. If your lymphatic system is a river, I'm not going to use roadway, I'm going to use a river. It's a river. A dam by the beaver is put in, and that's your scar. It's literally like the river can't flow because there's a dam wherever that scar is. And the C-section scars, the gallbladder scars, the belly button piercings, the midline scars, the 12-inch scars on your head that scalped you, the midline scars are a little bit more important because they're affecting the electrical current of your main circuit in your body. Your body's electrical. Your fascia, which is where the scar is in your fascia. Does everybody know what the fascia is before I start going into the fascia? Give me a yay, a Y if you know the fascia, and an N if you don't know what the fascia is. Just so I know what to talk. Okay, good. Yay! Oh my God, this makes me so happy. Look at all the yays, the yeses. So good, so good, so good. Okay, I did a fascia summit a couple of years ago with Siobhan Sarna, and I'm really glad so many more people know about the fascia. And if you call it fascia, please change it to fascia. It's much more fun to say that way. So fascia can trap by the beaver dams. But remember, fascia is a connective tissue. It's a triple helix, and it's literally touching every single thing in your body. It actually touches into every cell through the endothelial lining. And the shape of your body is determined by your fascia, not your bones. Your bones are floating inside the fascia. Also, your organs float inside the fascia. It's the architecture of your body is your fascia. And those fibers that are like a 2x2 square, they're like very organized. And when we have injuries and adhesions and scars, they become tight and bound and thicker, and they become impediments or detours or dams in the body. And as for that electrical current. So when we walk, this is how amazing the energy of the body is. So the only thing that heals us is the energy. That's your innate wisdom. And that's what we facilitate. And we allow it to move better because there's more space through the lymph. But when I move, when I walk, as my feet touch the ground, I'm creating a piezoelectric effect, an electrical current with movement that's moving through my fascia. And as long as I don't have a scar, that energy, that capacity doesn't, or that electrical current doesn't get stuck. And it just drives energy through my body. There's more energy in my body that could light up this entire world. More than even Vegas. I have more electrical current in my body than Vegas, and that really says something, doesn't it? But that energy gets trapped. And that happens with not just the top layer of the scar, but all the adhesions underneath, because the scar then impedes the whole body and can wrap around organs and create range of motion issues, or it can create liver stagnancies or spleen stagnancies, kidney, all the organs that are connected with visceral fascia can be harboring twists and binding. Like, I learned, I think I was in 4th grade, about how they used to bind Chinese women's feet. It just was so impactful for me. I don't know why it was so impactful for me, but maybe because I always think about the fascia, from that perspective. It is your body doesn't have a place to grow. It doesn't have a place to flow. So scars are week 2. We spend so much time in lymph and fascia, lymph and movement, how to open up your scars. What is the protocol for scars? And then week 3 is lymph and emotion, which is where we all live. We are emotional beings having a physical experience, and those emotions are what start to come out when you open up the lymph and the fascia. And then it's about understanding the symptoms and the emotions and how they're connected, and how to undo those through our own thoughts and through our movements moving forward. Movements moving forward, because it's a movement. Okay, back to my slides. So glad everybody got a little experience. So when you get a symptom, what do most people do when you get a symptom? Like we talked about earlier, they freeze, they fawn, they panic, they Google it to death, ChatGPT it, and start to take a whole bunch of stuff, adding to the body instead of subtracting from the body. And I invite you to subtract by opening up your drainage and having tools beyond just the lymph node release to know how to address your own body. You know, how many of you read the Dummy 101s or have seen the Dummy 101 books, right? I've been saying for years, why don't we get an instruction manual with our bodies? That's how it works. Why didn't anybody ever do that? Well, last year I did. And my team has helped me completely make this a whole entire, not just, it's really like a book, but it's an action book that you get to be interactive with to teach you how to self-care yourself. Because self-care is the new healthcare. You have to know how the body works. And the majority of your body is lymph and fascia. Because symptoms aren't your enemy. They're not your failures. They're the letters from your body. It's your lymphatic system trying to get your attention. And healing is not the absence of symptoms. Healing is understanding why those symptoms appear, and in having some innate intelligence to support that, to not silence the signal your body's given you, but work with the body and not be afraid. That's real freedom, to not be afraid of any symptom you get. And I've had a lot of them because I live a lot of life. So my question to you is, what would it be worth for you to know what to do with every symptom and how to support it? Genevieve is a brilliant scientist, investigator, master degree in nutrition, wealth of information. Sarah is worldly, has trained with Thai yoga and massage, and has worked at our clinic with clients from all over the world for the last 6 years now. And I can guarantee you, any client that comes to them, or myself or my husband, we know exactly how to help them no matter what their symptom is. Do you think any other practitioner feels that way? Genevieve, how free does it feel, not only you know how your body works, but that you can put all the puzzles together for all the clients? Scale of 1 to 10. How much freedom does that give you in your life?
15.
How much?
15.
15. Love it. Sarah, how does it feel when clients come to you and you know how to help them move through, whether it's deep emotional stress or it's, a very scary looking symptom? How does that feel for you as a practitioner?
I don't know if there's a word for it. Yeah, I don't, it's like 1,000 out of 10. It's freeing. It's, I feel honored. I feel excited. I don't know what encompasses all of that when I know that I can help anyone that walks in.
And we want to give you the rule book that we've been applying, because I've researched the science. I know what works and I keep applying it. But it's wonderful we can help people when they come to our clinic. And maybe some of you want to not have just a digital virtual experience with us. Maybe you want to come to our center and get a deep immersive. That's not for everybody. If that's you, reach out to us. That's a whole different experience. But if you want to continue to apply what we learn here, and some of you are clients that have been here, and I've asked you to come to this because I'm like, I think it's great I see it every a year or 2 years, because now you got something you don't know how to address. But I'd like to give you the keys to the cabinet and let you know exactly what to do between lymph and breath, lymph and movement, and lymph and emotion, because then you got no questions. Okay. So I'm going to change this wording. It is a practice. It is called the 21-day Lymphatic System Breakthrough. And it is about your reprogramming. It's about relearning how your body works and going through the 4 stages of learning. The 4 stages are, I didn't know what I didn't know, how important lymph and fascia were and how to really address them. Now I know that I don't know much about lymph and fascia. Then the next stage is I can do it. I can be consciously competent. If I really think about it, I can pump my lymph. I can engage my breath. I can move and treat my scars. I can handle my emotions. And then you get to the stage that I'm at, that Sarah's at, that Genevieve's at, that Ein's at, which is we are unconsciously competent. We don't have to think about it and we just know what to do. That's a beautiful thing. And we'll all go through these 4 stages of learning. And just like learning to play basketball or learning how to play chess, there's always 4 stages to these learning. So when I taught our 13-year-old, when we taught him how to brush his teeth, it wasn't like, oh, we taught him once, okay, he's good. We practiced with him. We made sure that he does it. And still at 13, when I take him to the dentist, I'm like, is he flossing properly? Is he getting behind there enough? He use his electric toothbrush more? Like, there's still 4 stages of learning how to care for his teeth. Same with your lymphatic system. So there's a couple myths I want to get rid of. Pain is not bad. Symptoms aren't bad. Things are not random. Everything happens exactly as it should and in the right order. And discomfort isn't bad. I'm not saying you have to be in pain or discomfort. I'm just saying don't be afraid of it. And as you learn about the body, you're going to learn to appreciate the pain and the discomfort for what it is trying to get your attention about that you've been trying to ignore. And I can tell you right now, there is nothing you can avoid. Avoidance doesn't work. You already know that, don't you? That's why you're here. So the reality of healing is this. Anything can cause anything. And again, the symptoms are the language of the body. So we have done this 3 times so far. This is our 4th cohort that we're starting, which starts April 4th. So you have a little bit of time. And these are some of the people that have done it with us. This is a 75-year-old woman who had a life-changing experience. You can read all the details, but essentially she was told that she had some fibrotic tissue that would be irreversible, and it's now softening and fading away at 75 years old. So why can't you change if she's doing this at 75 years old? Another woman who's been she's a practitioner, and she practiced this with us back in November, and she already has a great practice every day, great movement. She feels great. She just wanted to optimize, and she thought it was a great way to focus her self-care every single day with new movements that really allowed her to open up that drainage rather, so she could detox. So much has occurred for this particular individual. The accountability in the program was what really helped her, because she certainly knew about lymph and fascia. She has a family member that's intimately involved with our practice. But after she got really committed to the practice with the 21 day, all of a sudden her back pain of 2 decades almost went away. Another gentleman, he's in his mid-70s. His brain fog was much less and has continued to as he continues to work the practice. Sleeping better, more energy, grounded, and everything's changing in their external world. So when we do this 21 day, there's a lot you get with it. Okay, you get assessments to track your progress. Now, some of the assessments are done in questionnaires that are done in a guidebook that you have digital form of, but you can also print out. And in this guidebook are all sorts of things, but one of them is some assessments that you can do for your lymph and your nervous system. However, we also do a Ness health scan, 2 of them. I mean, that alone is worth a few $100 minimally. Just to get the assessment from the Ness scan, which is a non-invasive bioresonance scan done through your audio, through your voice. And in 10 seconds, you get, how many pages is the report, Genevieve? Like 64? Something like that?
Like almost 50.
50 pages of a report from a 10-second audio. It doesn't take you long to do the assessment. Might take you a bit to go through it, but the point is to do one before and after. And you can certainly sit with Genevieve if you'd like for additional time with her, which of course is chargeable, but if you're interested in going a little deeper in that. But in this 21 day, you get downloadable resources, the guidebook, and the checklist to know if you're doing the scars right. All the things we give you the checklist for my practice in the morning, Sarah's practice, how to make sure you're taking advantage of the whole program. So we made it very easy, bite size, so you can go at your pace. And if this is your first time with lymph, then there's plenty here for you, and you can eat it at bite size, like Genevieve says, little appetizer sizes. And if you've been sitting at the table for a long time, you've had your appetizers during your main meal and you want the dessert, well, there's plenty in here for you as well, even if you're experts, because none of you have been in clinical practice for your lymphatic system for 25 years like I have. So you get daily emails to support you through your practice of morning and night pumping your lymph. One is with me, one is with Sarah. Many other guided videos that cover other lymph upgrades so that you can upgrade your practice, as well as, like I said, lymph lessons and lymph tools. So we have different tools that you can utilize beyond just your fingers and your own body, and we go through that there. You'll also get 4 live support calls during the 21 days, and you get access to it for 365, because we know this is a practice and you're not going to eat it all at once. So we want to make sure you have access for you and your whole family. This is a household reprogramming. So this isn't just for you. This is for anybody that lives in your household to do this together so that your lymph isn't looking and feeling great and you're feeling amazing while they feel like crap. Engage them to do this together. It's a lot of fun. And it's April 4th to April 25th is when the next cohort is. Okay. So to reframe, you get assessments, hundreds of dollars worth of assessments alone. The lymph and breath practice, you get to learn to calm your nervous system, how to drain your swamp, and really learn that sequence of the lymph node and really dial that in from week 1 so that week 2, when we get to lymph and fascia, you're moving out of your old patterns and you're starting to feel access to new space in your body. And that new movement and addressing the blocks, the scars, then you get to unravel the lymph and emotions. And that's going to give you, we have symptoms and the language of the body tied to the organs, the time of the day, and some different ways that you can unwind that, all for you written out so that you have access to that. It's a beautiful sheet. It's one of my I'm very, I would say, proud of that sheet for the emotions, because I worked on that for weeks to make sure that was just dialed in. And then through the support, you also get the entire portal, which has access to all that. And then here's the point. At the end, you get the transformation. You get to feel better. You get better sleep. You get better bowels, less rashes, more in control. How to move forward, knowing the steps and the tools and the upgrades as you move forward. And you have access now to my team. Genevieve, Sarah, myself, and Ian. In order to be a client at the True Lymphatic Wellness Center, you must go through this portal first. You must do the 21-day Lymphatic System Breakthrough. That's something new that I've applied after 20 years in clinical practice in the last 6 months, because here's the point. If I get you to play basketball, but you didn't know the rules, you go home, you don't know how to play basketball. I want everybody to learn how to play basketball being your lymphatic system. So this is the rule book of what we do every day. So if you can apply this when you come in, we're going to upgrade you even farther. That's what we want to do. Deeper work, not surface level work. You need to get your foundational surface level work done, and that's done through this 21-day lymphatic system breakthrough. So it's not $3,000, but it should be. It actually should probably be about $6,000. But the amount of time and energy I've spent on this and my team, but the reality is I know $3,000 for a lot of people is just not possible. And I'm looking for this to be, knowing this will be a household name. Everyone is going to do this, because no matter what other thing you're doing, it makes it, you get better traction when you're working in the lymphatic system. So tonight, you're not going to pay $3,000. You can pay $747. And if you do it by tomorrow night at midnight, which is a little bit more than 28 hours from now, midnight Eastern Standard Time, you'll get an extra month of the Energy Flow Forum. I forgot to mention that. Our energy flow forum is our membership program where we go deeper on virtually on fascia, lymph, oxygen, and water. We also have 2 live calls there a month. And everybody gets 1 month of that when you get into the 21 day, because we want to continue to help support you after the 21 days. So not only do you get the full 365, but you get our membership for 30 days. It's $33 a month. And you get an extra month of that if you register by tomorrow night at midnight. Because I know, listen, $747 is an investment. It's for the whole household though. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What have you spent? I mean, if you break down $747 in 12 months, it's less than $100 a month. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like $80 or something. What have you spent $80 a month on that hasn't improved your health? And how could you redirect some of your funds to allow you to get out of jail from understanding how your body works and having the right tools? And I know a lot of you invested in programs before that haven't worked. This is not the same. This is the practice of how the body works. It's not about one organ in your body. This is about the majority of your body. 2/3 of it is that lymphatic system and the fascia. And you're going to know more than most doctors know when you get done with us. So this is for you and everybody in the house. So when you break it down, you see why the investment is so easy to just go ahead and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. And for those of you that need it, we also have a payment plan of, I think it's $247G, is that right?
259.
$259 every 2 weeks to allow you to make it more manageable, more bite size. We're here to support you, not be a limiting factor. And this cohort is limited in how many people we're willing to put in it, because we've done it 3 times now. We know what we can manage, and we're getting close to that number. So if this is something that really is calling to you, reach out and make sure you make it happen today. There are really only 3 rules that I have in all of life, and 3 rules to make you successful in anything you do. I have studied the principles of success. I have studied medicine and science and energy and vibration and frequency, probably more than 99% of the people on the planet. And these are the 3 rules that I stick to. You have to get started. You cannot win a game you're not playing. Okay, that's happening again. Somebody's writing on my screen. I'm gonna stop sharing and go back to sharing. It's so strange. Okay, so the first rule is you gotta get started. Second rule is pay attention. We're going to give you a lot of information, and this is the kind of thing that you go back to it and you reread it and you re-listen to it and you go, oh my gosh, because you get something more out of it each time, because your foundation's going to keep building and you're going to gather more information each time. Many of you are watching me tonight. You've seen me before and you got more tonight than you did last time, didn't you? That's how it works. So pay attention. And then number 3 is just don't quit. You have a life force inside you, and it is breath, and it is moving through the water in your body. Don't quit doing your lymphatic system till you're ready to quit living. Mic drop. Thank you. Truly, thank you. Honestly, time is something that is in short commodity. It's what we are spending here on this planet. It's what we all have access to, and yet it stresses us out. And yet you spent time tonight on your lymphatic system. You spent time with us as a team. And I truly thank you for that, because that is one thing you can't get back. We can regenerate this body. We can take our tonsils out, and I've seen people grow tonsils back. We can be told that we've lost 2 inches in height, and you can gain 1.5 inches so far of it back. There's all sorts of things your body can do to regenerate, but time is something we can't get back. So truly thank you for paying attention and being so attentive throughout this call, as most of you have stayed right with us the whole time. So the gift you're getting tonight is the extra month in the forum. And would you agree that you learn more about the lymph tonight give me a yay or a yes than you knew before, and maybe something new if you've been here before. And if no, I'd like to know it. Oh, good. Excellent. And did you feel your lymph system shifting tonight? And here's my formula, because I promised I'd give you my formula. Energy flow. That is the name of my podcast. That is the name of our membership. And that is what we do every day. Because what I recognize is that energy is the only thing that heals the body. The fascia traps it. The lymph mobilizes all that information once we untrap that energy in the fascia so that the oxygen can get everywhere, which heals the body, so the water in the body can structure. Energy flow, fascia, lymph, oxygen, water. This water bottle summarizes everything I've ever known about the science of healing. The information in this water is heightened because of the information on the bottle and the color of the bottle. The water in your body needs to be structured too. And it's great to buy water bottles or to get structuring machines or to buy hydrogen water machines. All that is really great. But what about the water in your body? Go back to that fish bowl. Is your water dirty? How can we help you clean it? The 21-day lymphatic system breakthrough is how we do it. Okay, we went 1 minute over 8:30, but I'm here for your questions. Have about 15 minutes. So if you have questions I can answer, I'm here for it. If you have objections of, hey, I don't want to do this and here's why, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to talk to you about it if you're willing to. And if you're ready to go and you're like, I've already registered, then let us know that. And we'd love to welcome you to our tribe. I call it the hive, actually, because I'm a queen bee and it's about being. Queen, bee, lymph, queen, bee hives. So you're the hive. You know, sometimes my jokes take a little explanation, but once you get them, you're like, oh my gosh, that was really funny. The podcast is The Energy Flow, and it's going to be having new episodes. I've taken a 6-month hiatus on my podcast, and we're launching some new episodes in the next couple weeks, starting with a gentleman that's going to teach more about heart rate variability and vitality named Rasmus Scout Bergenhausen, who will be on our podcast monthly. And those are on YouTube and Spotify, all the places you find podcasts. And there's already 160, 70 episodes out there. So lots to catch up on.
Kelly, there was a question earlier on from Rhonda.
Okay. Hi, Rhonda.
I was signing up last week, but was hesitant due to several abdominal issues and surgeries. I read that if you have heart issues, the fluid going to the heart could be dangerous. Is this true? I've had a previous pericarditis episode which resolved. I have AFib.
Wonderful question. Thank you for this question, Rhonda. So when your lymph is thick, it's like if you had a hose and water was supposed to go through it, it's like putting jelly through it. Your cardiovascular system is the hose that the lymph moves into. So as we help you orient your body and the nervous system and get your lymph to flow, it actually thins your lymph so that what goes into those pipes, your cardiovascular system, is actually thinner. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Anybody that says you shouldn't move your lymph, like, I would love to talk to all the oncologists. I've talked to plenty of them. I'd like to talk to all of them in the United States because I got trained in Europe. And in Europe, when you are diagnosed with cancer or heart disease, the very first thing they do is make sure you're working your lymphatic system. Because you cannot live for 1 minute without your lymphatic system. So all the oncologists go, oh, you shouldn't move your lymph if you have cancer. Are you trying to tell the clients that have cancer not to breathe? That makes no sense. You can't live without breathing. And I'm not trying to be tongue in cheek. I'm trying to throw some rational science and how the body works. And it's not in medicine. I didn't train in medicine. I trained in wellness and regulation. And if you have AFib, I'm going to guess you have either silver fillings or you have scars because there's an electrical current problem. And as a heart rate variability expert and knowing so much about the heart, I watch the heart improve its health physiologically as we work the lymphatic system. So, Rhonda, I would encourage you to take the step in the right direction of enhancing your ability to heal and recognize that maybe you want to go at a slower pace so that this is all about your pace, so that you feel comfortable as you continue to increase it. But if you don't change what's going on in your body right now, what is going to change? You're going to just wait for the symptom to get worse and then the doctor give you a diagnosis. That's how that system works. This formula, when you apply it, it actually reverses diseases and chronic issues because it allows space and freedom in the body and to release what it's been holding on to, and it allows it to heal. Does that help, Rhonda? I don't know where Rhonda is, so I can't see her, or unless she wants to. I don't see any Rhonda. Maybe she's off, but I also can't see all the people because I've got a little smaller screen.
We have just one more before the other ones that came at the end. Kia was popping in. She's been dealing with an enlarged swollen lymph node in her right groin. It happened after a lot of trauma and emotions that came to the surface around 11 years ago and stayed ever since. So not able to drain that side of my leg properly. I've always had mild swelling in my leg and foot that gets worse with heat, a lot of movement, or stagnation. The groin is quite hard. I would really like to know what it's called and if the 21 day could be helpful for this.
She'd like to know what it's called. Stagnant lymph.
Yeah, she said she already does daily lymph exercise and drinks the right amount of water.
Okay, good. And I'm going to guess that with that trauma, whether it's physical or emotional, there's some scars, emotional scars or physical scars. And we all have one scar because we have the belly button. Did you say Pia was her name?
Kia, K-I-A.
Okay, I was like, are you kidding me? We have the third Pia. Okay, Kia. All right, hi, Kia. So Kia, with an enlarged, swollen, like hardened lymph node that comes and goes, thank goodness. We don't want anything hard to stay. That is, there's a dam, and that means there's a scar, and you get back up. You can't move the lymph backwards, but the lymph can get backed up. So with the 21 day, we focus on engaging the nervous system, as I said, and the lymph nodes. And while you're doing movement and while you're doing water, it's like cleaning your house without opening up your windows when you don't properly open up the nodes and you don't open up the scars. You're dusting your house without opening the windows, so it's all just kind of moving around. Or perhaps it doesn't even move past a certain point. So I'm going to suggest to you as you do this, week 3, lymph and emotion, is going to be important for you to not only do that week, but to continue on, because it's going to help you unwind the trauma that happened 11 years ago and help you continue to express it and move through it so it's not baggage you're holding on to. You know, I tell my story about the car accident that I was in and my dad's, but that is not my story. That's just something that happened to me a long time ago, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me because it put me on the path that I've been praying for, which is to just be able to live heaven on earth, to live free. It put me in this perspective of trying all the things. I'd been to the neurologist and to the orthopedic specialist and the pain specialist. I tried all that for 3 years. I'd done all their tricks. And it wasn't until I didn't even try hypnotherapy. I was in Ithaca, New York. You could try anything in Ithaca, New York in the 90s. I, however, didn't get introduced to this vibrational medicine until I was in Pennsylvania in 97, and it changed. Like, I had a spontaneous healing. I didn't understand it. And he was like, oh, it's energy. And the energy in the body is stuck, and that is emotional. And when you bring up the trauma, my heart goes, week 3. You got to get through week 1 and week 2 because it builds a foundation. But when you get to week 3, you're going to start to feel differently, move through that, and therefore it'll just be a part of your story, not your story. And you'll be able to move through it. So I trust that you will join us and we will get to know you through the cohorts and through the live calls, and be able to watch you transform so that you're not carrying around that lymph node that's holding your story.
We have a couple other questions. Karen's asking, will this help for skin eczema?
Sarah, take it away. You want to answer that one?
Let me unmute myself.
Yes.
Well, when we see things on the skin, it is the body trying to push stuff out often. And if we allow it to properly drain, it doesn't need to try to force its way out in all of those different sorts of expressions. I mean, to be honest, I know it's maybe an annoying answer sometimes, but when people say like, can this help this? This is not like a pill that you're going to take that has to match with something. This is an entire approach to how you live your life. And it is based on how the body works at a base level. So can it help the skin eczema? Absolutely. Can it help? I mean, any of those things. That's why, we said earlier, anyone lands in our room, anyone lands on our table, do we feel like we can help them? Absolutely. Because it doesn't matter what the symptom is or what the expression is. This is a formula. And if we follow the formula, the body is given the opportunity to heal itself and unwind anything that has been dysregulated.
Very good. And it won't be done in 21 days. That's just the beginning of the practice, which is why you have a year. And what we find is that the deepest you're willing to go, the body is there for it. And you can stop at any point. You can be like, okay, that's good. That's all I want to do. I don't want to get any better than this. Or you can be like myself, Genevieve, and Sarah, that are like, how good can I feel? How much energy can I have? And how little can I do effortlessly, back full circle, to be able to do it? Genevieve, from a TCM, Chinese medicine perspective, what does eczema of the face or the skin mean to you?
So the skin is governed by the lungs in traditional Chinese medicine. And basically, the lungs, as Kelly mentioned earlier, are one of our major eliminatory pathways of the body. So if you're holding on to repressed emotions, toxicants, traumas that for whatever reason your body hasn't able to break down, metabolize, digest through going to the bathroom, sweating, or also things that you haven't been able to vocalize and release, then your body will try to find another pathway to move it out. So if your lymph isn't moving, then it'll go to your skin, and then you'll see topical skin conditions pop up.
Great.
We had Virginia ask, will high blood pressure be regulated when the lymph is moving better?
So there's never one thing causes one thing. However, what we have found is the pressure in the blood often comes from the vascular recovery and the chronotrophic dip. So the ability of your heart to pump the blood out and bring it back up. And go back to that analogy of the hose. If what the hose is trying to pump is really thick, then it's going to be harder for that hose to pump. It's going to create pressure. Your pressure relief valve system and fluid balance is your lymphatic system. And when the lymphatic system backs up, it goes into your kidneys. Because the lymphatic system is so overwrought, it's like, okay, kidneys, you work harder. When the kidneys are working harder, it puts more pressure on your heart, and that's when people often see a lot of blood pressure issues. As you release the valve, the stress comes off the kidneys, the stress comes off the lymph, and then we see blood pressure normalize. How long does that last? As long as you continue to practice it and you keep going deeper. You don't arrive at health and go, oh my God, I'm here. I've gotten here. Woohoo! And life is a journey, but what is the destination? The destination is your body. This is your destination. This is what you got. This is your vessel. This is what you're here to live. This energy body or energy life is in this physical body. And if it's pressurized, blood pressure, then there's something it's holding on to, harboring. Then as you release it, it can normalize, it can heal. As Sarah said, there's not a symptom. Did you see the list of symptoms from one of those first slides? There's not a symptom the lymph doesn't touch. There's nothing that working the lymph can't help. It's just a matter of what are you willing to do to help yourself? What are you willing to do now that you have the answers and the tools and the team to continue to keep moving forward? What are you willing to do for yourself, and how deep are you willing to go? We can't do this for you. If we could, we would. But you got to get up every day and brush your teeth. I can't brush them for you. You got to get up every day and pump your lymph. And we're going to help you practice it so much that not just lymph and breath, lymph and movement, lymph and emotion, not just the lymph tools and the lymph lessons and the lymph upgrades, but the lymph moves are going to be your foundation of how you live your life. This is a rebirth, as I said. This is an opportunity for you to reprogram how you address your health. And it isn't about chasing a symptom and, oh, can you get rid of this disease or this diagnosis? This is about, can you increase your capacity to heal where those don't exist anymore? Different way to look at it. This is a shift in your health. This isn't about in a month or 2 months you'll feel different. This is something you get to do today. In 2 weeks, I guess it is when we start. But you can make this get started action today. Go, yes, I'm committed. Now I'm going to go watch Kelly's videos and I'm going to start to dive in and get my manual lymph pumping going a little bit so that by the time I hit April 4th and we start as a group together, I am already have a little bit of practice, and now I know it's going to get even better. And by the end of it, you're going to all be Michael Jordans in basketball. And then you'll be like everybody else that's ever worked with us. Once you start feeling better, lymph becomes, we call it the 4-letter word. Oh my gosh, let me guess, it's lymph. Oh my gosh, it's lymph. Yes, I know it sounds like a broken record, but you don't know how powerful this system is until you've worked with it. And then every answer becomes, oh yeah, it's in their lymph, in their fascia. It's funny how that works, isn't it, ladies? Even you can know all the things, like Genevieve knows all the things. And yet she comes back to the center stage of lymph and fascia. These are great questions, y'all. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing many of you, if not all of you, on the 4th joining us. Is there any other questions I can answer real quick?
Yeah, we have a couple others. Kelly asked, she said she strained her SCM and scalene muscles on the left side. Can she still drain the lymph in the neck?
Well, yes. I mean, your lymph is moving, ideally. Your lymph is moving, not ideally when you have strained muscles. So there's ways you can unstrain your muscles. I'm hopeful you're working through that, Kelly. And love your name, by the way, Little Warrior. Kelly means warrior in Celtic. So your SCMs and your scalenes are, I'm going to guess, I can't guess, but they're strained for various reasons. But I'm going to tell you, every client I've ever met has strained SCMs and scalenes. Would you agree with that, Sarah?
Yeah.
Like pretty much every single client, because there's a cage that I talk about that we all in modern society that we live in, and that cage is from sitting like a C, and it's forward head posture. It's also from the amount of sitting. There's many factors as to why, but essentially there's like a neck cage, I call it, and it creates very tight SCMs and scalenes. And part of what we teach you in the Energy Flow Forum is how to massage your tongue to help release all that. Yeah, we're tongue massagers over here.
Let's see. Rita asked, she said 5 leg veins removed, Tavere heart valve, lymphedema, calf and ankles. I can help more today. Massager point pump. I'm not sure I understand that question, Rita, but if you want to post it again, you're welcome to. Chantel said, would it help venous insufficiency?
So I'm going to go back to that hose analogy. Don't mean to be repetitive, but if what's pushing through a hose is thick like jelly, it's going to be hard for your pump, known as your heart, to move it through the vascular system. As you thin that out, as you mobilize your lymph, it actually is easier because that lymph becomes thinner, less proteins in it, less toxicants. And because you're going to exhale out most of those toxicants, you're going to start to learn how to exhale more. And then that's going to thin that fluid. And now what your venous system is having to pump is much less. A lot of women and men are focused or worried about spider veins becoming varicose veins. And I've done a lot of helping people reverse that through the lymphatics. I was a 39-year-old pregnant woman. What do they call it? Geriatric pregnancy, 39 years old. And I started to see some spider veins because I gained 65 pounds before I started breastfeed, had the baby, gained another 20. So I gained a total of 85 pounds. I've never been that large in my life. And the pressure of that extra fluid started to show up on my legs. And so I was like, oh, no, no, no. And so I started to work my lymphatics more, and I don't have those anymore. And I've done that with a lot of clients. And I had a lot of spider veins when I started this in my 20s because I pretty much lived my high school career being a basketball and volleyball player on crutches because I was great at straining my ankles. So I had a lot of stagnancy in my ankles to begin with in my early 20s. I didn't see any of that stagnancy again until I was like late 30s, 39 to 40 because of the pregnancy. And at 52 now, I don't see those. And I'm just one case. What's your story? And what are you willing to do? It definitely isn't like, oh, only brushing your teeth twice a day. That's just the beginning, as I said. How deep you want to go and how good do you want to feel? I personally want to live to about 260 years old, have quality of life the whole time and use of all my organs and my mind, and then fall asleep one night and not wake up. That's what I'm setting up this destination for. And that's what I'm here to teach you how to as well.
All right, we have a couple others. Virginia asked if it would help polyneuropathy. She also said, how often do you repeat these sessions? I just lost my husband and I may not be able to attend all of the week's sessions. And I think by how often do you repeat these sessions, I think she means the whole program.
The cohort, yes. What is her first name?
Virginia.
Virginia. We're going to take a breath for you together. Ready, everybody? Exhale out. Ugh. A loss of a spouse is a heart shift in your regulation. And if you can't keep up with it all, just minimally doing the basics of the 2 pumping a day would be ideal to help you through this process. In our last cohort, we had a woman ask, I'm really busy. I have so much going on. My daughter's wedding's coming up. What do you think? And we were like, well, yeah, because then you'll have more time and space to enjoy the wedding because you're going to be more clear-minded. You're going to feel less cortisone stress in your body. You're going to really have more presence about you. And it's not easy what you're going through, love. And this will facilitate you to go through that and handle your grief. And you have a year to access it all. So you don't have to be in a race and a pace. You can go at your own pace. And I know you had another part to your question, but I was so heartfelt by you losing your husband. I've missed the other part of the question. What was the other part of the question?
If it can help polyneuropathy. Polyneuropathy.
Oh, polyneuropathy. So neuropathy can be tough depending on how long it's been going on. I have definitely seen not complete reversal when it's been for years, but if it's in the beginning stages, reversal's easy. It depends on how deadened the nerves are. Nerves can regenerate. It's just a matter of what you're willing to do and how much you're willing to support the body to get those nerves to continue to regenerate. However, in every nerve fiber, there are lymph channels. So you got to open up the lymph system to get the nerves to actually be conducted properly. And oftentimes when the nervous system is affected like that, which is a circulatory problem, what is part of your circulatory system? Your lymph. 2/3 of your circulatory system is your lymphatic system. So absolutely seeing big changes in neuropathy. When we're going to do the cohort again hasn't fully been decided because we do run a clinic as well. And we do it when it falls into the flow of our schedule. And I can tell you, we're not doing more than like 3 or 4 in a year because it's just not, we don't like to live at a punishing pace. We like to live in a flow pace. So I don't have the answer to that right now, Virginia, but stick with our emails if this timing doesn't work for you, and you'll catch us next time around.
We have one more by Rhonda. She asked, what does this practice provide over and above taking Cellcore's drainage supplements, dry brushing, rebounding, and walking daily? And can this practice replace all the other things I'm doing, especially taking Cellcore?
I don't talk about Cellcore even one time in this program, just to let you know. I used Cellcore 5 years ago. I use very limited versions of Cellcore now in our clinic. And I don't think I ever recommend Lymph Active, if that makes you feel better, Rhonda. I would also say that, again, this is not about a pill. This is about a practice. And while you're rebounding and walking and dry brushing, which is all really good, let's assure you have the right sequence. And then really, that's like week 1, essentially, is what you're doing. But week 2 is getting into your scars, handling your scars and your adhesions, your injuries. And also teaching you how to break an allergic reaction. I forgot about that. We teach you how to break allergic reactions. And then week 3, you're doing all the right things, but perhaps you don't feel different, Rhonda. And week 3 is about allowing you to recognize and how to assist you to go deeper with the tools of the lymph and emotional piece. And that is where the biggest shifts and changes are made. It's the emotional body, and it's not about supplements. And while I love supplements, if I never look at a supplement page ever again in my life, I will be really okay with that. Genevieve loves to do them, and we are so happy about that. Genevieve loves to do them because I was willing to do all the things. But now that I have this amazing team, I get to focus on what I really love to do, which is group coaching, creating content to get people to understand how the body really works, and then doing my very deep work. The 21 day was born out of the fact that I was honestly exhausted from people doing all the right things and not feeling different. And so I wrote this reprogramming for you to learn how to reframe what you're doing and stop taking a this for that and starting to go, this is how I deal with it. And maybe I want to support my body in these different ways, but it's certainly not dependent upon those supplements. Those are like the icing on the cake. It's not the cake.
She said, thank you very much.
You're welcome very much, Rhonda.
Oh, see anything?
Oh gosh, it's 8:58. I just saw the time. Okay, I'll give you 2 more minutes. I was supposed to go hang with, I gotta go do something soon.
All right, we'll do one last question. Sharon asks, I've always struggled with fat over belly and waist. It's making sense that this is lymph stuff. Is that your experience?
Yes, and perhaps scars if you've got like a fold over. I don't have a stretch mark on my body, considering that I gained all that weight and I was 39 years old, because the fascia is elastic. And if we don't know how to apply pressure and where to apply pressure on the fascia, then we don't actually get it to reorganize itself. So I've watched not only my body, but so many other bodies change. Sarah's been better. We're still not awesome at taking before and after pictures when we work on clients. But can you just share what happened last week with KP?
What part? What in particular?
Well, just like her arms were like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have a client that we've been seeing for probably 6 years now, and we've just shifted into doing more movement, like fascia work that she's honestly a lot of what we do in the program, like fascia work that she facilitates. And we did, maybe an hour or a little bit more, but not consistent. It's not like an hour yoga class. We were just kind of doing different things for the whole session. And I took before and after pictures, and her range of motion in her shoulders was different by like 40 degrees. like the not just like lifting up, but also she didn't have to go as wide. She didn't have pain or a pull when she was lifting her arm. So that was very cool, and I was very glad that I took the before and after pictures for that, because it was, I intended for it to be over the course of our sessions, which we've certainly done, but even within the hour that we were playing around a little bit, it changed.
And as you increase the range of motion up here, as you get the whole fascia to move differently, you actually change the shape of the body. So if you've got rolls in different places, that as you open up all the fascia, it all starts to glide better, because you'll learn about this in week 2, but the fascia should glide instead of get stuck. And so we allow you to facilitate that, and then you lose the crevices, the craters that are created from old patterns that are conditioned, and then you start to physically see different changes. I mean, it's like we're shapeshifters and we forgot it. We're all octopus that can be shapeshifters, and we forgot that. You're not destined to have the body that you have now. You can change that shape. And we could show you not only my picture, but tons of pictures, but particularly I look at my body all the time and go, it's amazing to me that my breasts, for instance, sorry, men, if you're on here and you don't want to hear about my breasts, but the women don't care. I had 2 shaped breasts. I had a circle breast and a tube breast. And I was not trying to change the shape of my breasts. I was just working my fascia. I don't know, 3-4 years ago, I'm standing in the mirror looking at myself, and all of a sudden I was like, my husband, have you noticed my breasts have changed? And he was like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, what? What? They're like the same shape now. They're not different shape. What? I thought that was my whole life. I was born that way, I thought, right? I mean, as I was growing as a young girl, it was very embarrassing. I didn't have big breasts, obviously, at all. But when I would, change in a locker room or something, I was very embarrassed because they looked weird. And I got over caring. But by the time I was, in my mid 40s, after breastfeeding, mind you, which that was a whole experience, they went back into shape, in a better shape than they've ever been. That's amazing. So yeah, come in and reshape. Make sure you do. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. What was that woman's name that asked that question? Sharon. Make sure you do a before and after picture. So, and when Sarah instructs you on how to do that in the first week, don't just do it on your face, do it on that belly. And these are not for you to share unless you want to, because I love before and after pictures. But do it for yourself to see, because you'll see, the body isn't like it turns on and off. It's gradual. You got sick faster, you're going to get well or you got sick gradually, you're going to get well gradually. Your body's going to change gradually. You're not going to go to sleep one night 300 pounds and wake up tomorrow and be 180. It doesn't work like that. So you got to see the pictures, and that's why we have you document, because as a scientist, I know documentation beats conversation. And I can tell you all day long how this is going to make you better. But think about those testimonials that we had here earlier. We have proponent, like I would call them disciples almost of the 21 day that are out there telling all their friends and family about doing this because they've had such amazing results. And we just want that for every single person. So make sure, though, that you document it so that you continue as you move forward to watch yourself change, because that's what's going to keep you, because that's how the brain works. That's what's going to keep you moving forward in your life and always going back to that foundational work of going, that's when I've always seen the most change in my body, is when I applied the energy flow formula. So I'm going to keep doing that to entrain my brain to go, that's the change. I see it. So I can't ever forget it. Seeing is believing. Okay. That said, I see that it's 9:04 and I have somewhere else to be. I love you all, truly, from the bottom of my heart. Happy first day of the rest of your life. Happy rebirthing here with the 21-day Lymphatic System Breakthrough. And Genevieve and Sarah, thank you so much for all that you give for these webinars, your nightly hours, your time. And again, thank you all for your time tonight. And I'm so honored to be here and to lead you on this life force journey that you're on with your healing system. And we'll see you on April 4th.